Hey crew. Um, as you know, I'm in Madison, Wisconsin on my lunch break from the conference. And yeah, I had a fun day yesterday. I left Winona at 12:30, driving Betty, and the drive over to Madison was uneventful, and I was a little bit ahead of schedule, so I figured I'd just check into my hotel room before I headed over to Milwaukee to see Chad and his wife Erin. And so I pulled up in front of the hotel room or the hotel, which is kind of in downtown Madison, like a block or two from the state capitol. And I parked the car in the 10-minute parking zone and jumped out of it. And I remembered that you'd said to me, the electronic locks don't work, but you can just lock it and then hold the handle and it'll lock. So I jumped out of the car, grabbed the car keys, put them in my pocket, made sure I had them, locked the car, went inside the hotel and registered, and was going to go back and get the stuff out of the car, drive the car into the parking garage and just take my stuff up to the room and dump it, so that, I just figured I might as well do that since I had, a little less than half an hour. And so I go back out to the car and I take the keys out of my pocket and I try to stick them in the door, and the key doesn't fit in the door. And I went, huh. And I started thinking that I remembered when we were in Portland and we were at Lewis and Clark State College, and or Lewis and Clark or whatever it is, and I bagged out of the tour and went back to the car and played the guitar. And I took the keys, and I seem to recall there was a smaller key that actually opened the car door. So as you know, I called you, and I said, please tell me that the key that starts the ignition is the key that opens the door. And of course you told me it wasn't. So anyway, I called AAA. It was no problem. The guy showed up. I called Chad. I ended up being half an hour late. But actually it was really cool the way he opened the car door. So he had this little lever that he used to just create a little crack in the door. He did it on the passenger side. And then he slid in a thing that was like a blood pressure sleeve. It was actually, it was like just a smaller bag that you pump air into with a thing, just like a blood pressure sleeve. And so he slid that in the door, and then he pumped it up, and it created enough space so he could slide this long stick in there, and it had, a little hook on the end, and he went and unlocked the door with it. It was like really simple. And, but the funny thing was, he didn't even look at my ID. He didn't look at the ownership of the vehicle. He asked me, I'd already called and given him my AAA number, and I gave him the last digit. He asked for the last digit of my AAA card when he called to tell me he was coming, but never checked my ID, And I was thinking, a guy that looks like me, with dreads and everything, I'm like, yeah, this is my car. Anyway, so it was fun. So then I headed on out. I ended up half an hour late, and had dinner with Chad and his wife Erin, which was really fun. It was actually funny because as I headed down there, I had kind of a headache, and on the way back I felt really bad, and I actually stopped and got gas, and I bought some ibuprofen and took it, and I didn't feel good coming back, and I drank a lot of iced tea while we were there, thinking that it would keep me awake on the trip back, which it did. But then I got to the hotel room and I couldn't sleep, and I was still buzzed, so I had trouble falling asleep last night. Anyway, though, it was a fun trip. But I just sent you an email, and Chad actually does this photo blog where he takes a picture every day and he posts it. And we were eating. He said, "Oh, I haven't done my picture today." So on the way back, we were driving in the car, and he's like, "Oh, I should just take a picture of the dashboard." And so he actually did, and it actually looks kind of cool. It's on his photo blog, so I sent you a link to that. But it was kind of funny because we were trying to get the light right and everything. And when he took it, I thought there's no way that's going to come out. I just thought it was too dark. But it did. So that's all I got for you. I will see you on Friday. Until then, still dead. Well.